So there's a Fusion reporter who is being sued by who I believe to be an alt-right troll. Let's start there. Okay, so Cassandra Fairbanks, she writes for Big League Politics. She's written for quite a few other outlets. She has a big voice on Twitter. She was once a fervent Bernie Sanders supporter. And that's where I first met her and got connected with her. And she quickly devolved into being strongly affiliated with white nationalists, white supremacists, definitely affiliated with the alt-right, people like Richard Spencer. She quickly devolved from being a Bernie Sanders supporter to be an all-out Trump girl overnight. That's a whole different conversation. Cassandra Fairbanks is suing Fusion reporter Emma Roller because she believes that Emma defamed her when she tweeted an image of Fairbanks at the White House, making what Emma Roller from Fusion claimed to be a white power hand gesture. In the picture behind us, you see she's there with Mike Cernovich, however you pronounce his last name. And so this is what the lawsuit is basically saying, that Emma, by tweeting this out, it was retweeted, I believe, 6,000 times, by tweeting this out and saying that this was a white supremacist hand gesture, that she slandered and defamed Cassandra Fairbanks. I don't know how you could defame. Anyway, I'll leave all the ad hominems for the end. So here's where this is going to actually be. This is going to be an interesting lawsuit for several reasons. And for reasons that I don't think Cassandra has thought out all the way. And so I'm going to help you think it out, Cassandra. The question behind this is, what's in a symbol? What defines a symbol? What gives a symbol its meaning? Because, and the reason I start there is not just to be philosophical. It's really because this symbol, this OK symbol, right? It started off as a joke in alt-right circles and 4chan and that entire cesspool. It started off as a means of trolling the media. And they wanted to see that if they could get media personalities and media heads and journalists to say that a symbol that is rather innocuous is now a symbol of white supremacy. And because they see this as a big joke, they can easily claim plausible deniability whenever using it in the context, like in the picture behind me. They can say, oh, this is not a white nationalist symbol because we're just making a joke, and ha ha he he, you fell for the joke. And so now here she's suing, Cassandra Fairbanks is suing Emma Roller, and she's saying, I'm not a white nationalist. You're sullying my brand. I don't really know how the hell you're going to sully her brand, but by calling her a white nationalist when she affiliates herself in every single tweet, every single day of the week with the most disgusting scum of the white nationalist movement. Like, why do you want to run away from this now? This is, let's go off on a tangent. Cassandra, why would you want to run away from what you embrace all day long? Apparently it's because she wants to make a statement. I don't think this is going to make the statement that she thinks it's going to make, because now we come full circle and ask ourselves, what gives a symbol meaning? And this is a question that the judge is going to have to decide. I said on a video last week that it doesn't really matter what they call themselves. It doesn't matter how they self-identify. What matters is who they are and what they're doing with that identification, right? And so whether or not they call themselves white nationalists is irrelevant. Whether or not they self-identify as white supremacists is completely irrelevant if everything that they do is consistent with white supremacy. It doesn't matter if you don't call yourself a Nazi, if you espouse Nazi rhetoric, if you now espouse Nazi ideologies, if you use the symbol and the gestures and the salutes of Nazism. It doesn't matter if you don't call yourself a Nazi. What matters is who you are and what you're doing with it. And what they're doing with these symbols is identifying these rather innocuous symbols with white supremacy and with white nationalism and with Nazism. Over and above what they're doing with it, it also has a connection with who started this and where did it come from and who's the leading force behind it. And some of the leading forces behind this symbol really is a Nazi, a self-avowed, well, he wouldn't consider himself to be a true Nazi, but Richard Spencer, one of the most hate-filled, nationally recognized scumbags of white nationalism. And so he's a part of the beginnings of this symbol. This is where it had its start. This is where it had its inception. It had its inception as a joke, but it was a joke started by a bunch of white nationalists. And the way that it's utilized and the way that it's carried out in society, and society is kind of a broad term, well, the way it's carried out in their circles is while they're simultaneously making a joke of it, they are utilizing it as a way of identifying people who carry the same filthy white nationalist ideologies. So the question that the judge is going to have to answer is what's in the meaning of it? What gives a symbol its meaning? What gives a symbol? What imbues a symbol with the hatred that surrounds it? What causes that? Because it's not as though the swastika just by the shape itself is naturally an evil symbol, but it has most certainly become a symbol of evil in society because of who used it and how it was used. And so while this symbol, this okay symbol is rather innocuous and is something rather bland and mundane, who's using it and how are they using it? I would be interested in seeing how the judge will decide on this because the implications will have far-reaching ramifications. If he does make the case that it doesn't matter how this started, what matters is where it came from and how it's being utilized, then now we will actually have on court record a decision, a case study saying that this symbol that the 4chan trolls and Richard Spencers of the world started off as a way of trolling the media now is itself a symbol of white supremacy. And everyone who's holding it up and using it will now be forever affiliated with the symbol of white supremacy, Nazism, and all around hatred. So while this is an attack on Emma Roller, and I'm quite sure there's going to be a lot of us who are going to, help her with her legal fees if necessary. I'm sure her organization probably has lawyers ready for it. While this is a direct attack on Emma, and while this is something that Cassandra Fairbanks thinks is going to make a statement in her favor, it's very likely that this is going to turn around on her and forever stigmatize her with the reality that she went into the White House briefing room and used a symbol that she felt was trolling America, but because of where it started and how it's been used, is quite and actually a symbol of white supremacy and white nationalism. I would say good luck, but good luck, Emma.